Now, if we talk about processing information fast and easy, where does it start? Everything starts with your brain in mind. And there's a process in your brain that we refer to as neuroplasticity. Here's an example, a model of a brain that has been cut open. The white and the gray matters that you see here, that's where your brain cells reside. So your brain cells transmit electrical messages from one brain cell to another one, from one neuron to another one. So the point that I want to make is that there are many chemicals that helps to facilitate these electrical messages between your neurons, your brain cells. But although there are all these chemicals that we have, we get two categories. The one category may slow down or block electrical transmission, and that's what you are seeing at the screen. The one category of chemicals that slows down or negatively impact the ease and speed with which we learn, think, and process information are called inhibiting chemicals. They slow down electrical transmission or sometimes even block. The red line between the two brain cells just illustrates that sometimes there are chemicals that prevent that message from efficiently being transferred from one cell to another. Everything in the human mind is always about chemicals. Emotions are feelings. What is it that you feel? You feel a chemical that is being released. But the way that the human body speaks to us is simply that negative chemicals will make us feel bad. Positive chemicals will make us feel good. And this is the way that the body tells us that we are well or not. So we've been talking about well-being and neuro-agility. If we are run by negative thoughts, pessimism, negative mindsets, negative emotions, we don't feel that good. Stress and fatigue means we don't feel good. Why? Because the body is telling us that we are running on chemicals that in the medium to long term is bad fuel for us. We will not be well and we cannot be agile. Wellness and agile goes hand in hand. But here's the good news. The other category of chemicals that we use are chemicals that facilitate messages between cells. They are referred to as neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine and oxytocin, but they transmit messages between cells. Now, here's the good news. When we experience more positive emotions than negative emotions, we are more positive, we are more optimistic, we are happy, and we are well. It means these chemicals give us energy, they strengthen our immune system, and that's good fuel. So the same chemicals that on a basic level allows us to be agile people are the same chemicals that allows us to be happy and well. Therefore, if we look at neuro-agility, we start here by anything that complements this process of electrical transmission makes us well, but also promotes agility as such. So this is why neuro-agility approach is so important. Our world has become a very small place. If you work for Emirates Bank, they have more than 100 cultures that they have to accommodate in that bank. What is very important is our world needs to accommodate diversity. And your brain is inclusive, regardless of race, culture, gender, beliefs, all the things that makes us different. What makes us the same is the brain. Your brain and my brain works the same. Your brain and my brain is pink. And if we align our people development practices, our learning practices, our wellness practices with how the brain naturally prefers to learn, think, and process information, then we will be well. You cannot be agile if you are not well. You cannot be well if you are not going to be agile. These things go hand in hand. So neuroscience and this approach that I'm putting forward to you today is inclusive of us being humans, but it has addressed gaps that has been identified that has not previously been identified, that influences the ease and speed with which we process information. It also showcases a great new neuroscience framework for talent development, performance improvement, but also for brain health optimization. So the neuro-agility approach and the framework that I'm referring to here will actually contribute to our natural state of well-being for any person across the globe, regardless of all the things that makes us different from each other. So science, because we anchor our people development, our wellness practices, our learning practices, health practices, performance improvement practices into the hard sciences like neurophysiology and chemistry, literally it helps us also to be more accurate and separates fact from fiction. So agile organizations is now crucial. And if we talk about an agile organization, it's all about agile people, because it's people who make up an agile organization. And that, I believe, in my opinion, should be the point of departure in any agility initiative, in any well-being initiative, because it offers us inclusivity of humans, regardless of the things that makes us different. And that's why it's such a beautiful fit, and it addresses such a powerful gap. But if we follow this agility approach, just have a look at it, at the results. Agile organizations are 32% more likely to be first to market with their product, 37% greater employee productivity, 34% better response to customer needs, 26% greater ability to deliver quality products, 58% more likely to have skills to meet future demand, those skills we spoke about. In other words, they understand that by optimizing our human potential of people in organizations, it's what actually becomes the organization and even a team's competitive advantage. So in my opinion, that is not optional anymore, but mandatory. So just a quick break again. I want you to follow the example of the instructor on the screen and just try and do this activity. This is just an example of another brain agility exercise. So let's see how agile you are. Okay, so ladies and gents, again, just ask yourself, how agile are you? How are you doing? What we did now was just an example of one driver that has an impact on the ease and speed with which we learn, think, and process information. So here is the whole neuro-agility framework. It stands on two legs. There are drivers that optimize your brain performance, and then there are the elements that influence how you think, learn, and process information. And if we can get balance between and a good interplay between these elements that you see on the screen. For instance, your laterality influences your critical and analytical thinking. But some people are expressive, others are receptive. We need to be both depending on what the situation requires. Time is catching up with us, so we cannot go too much in details. But the world has unfortunately always had a dualistic approach of suggesting that some people are analytical and others are creative. What neuro-agility means is we got to be analytical and creative at the same time, depending on what the situation requires of us. But we need to develop it. It's not going to happen automatically, but we need to develop it. So we can be all these things because all of us have a brain that utilizes all areas. But we need to develop the competence, the fitness, and the flexibility to start doing it simultaneously. We alternate between different modes of thinking and learning sometimes because of a lack of development. And we need to integrate and develop these components that will have an impact on the ease, the flexibility with which we learn, think, and process information. But then if you look at the drivers that increases the ease and speed with which you process information, your stress coping levels, your sleep strategies, movement and exercise, your mindset, and your diet, all these things will have a massive impact on the ease and speed with which you process information. And there's a big interplay between the drivers that boost your brain performance and health, and then the neuro design, the factors that I just mentioned in the slide before. And if we get that interplay, that is truly where we become neuro-agile people. So, ladies and gents, I would like to just conclude my session today. This was just an overview. There's so much we can talk about, but time is up. But I want to conclude this session by simply saying that the journey to developing agile people and organizations starts with developing neuro-agile people and optimizing the brain-based elements that impact the ease, the speed, and the flexibility with which we learn, think, and process information is the link between performance optimization, well-being, happiness, developing cultures of learning, and even reducing our risk for human error. It is an inclusive approach of all people and a great starting point that covers a lot of gaps. Thank you very much for your time, ladies and gents. It has been a joy for me to share my passion with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Vermeulen. It's been a very insightful presentation. Thank you so much for dedicating this time to the topic and to our audience today. So I wish you a great day ahead. And unfortunately, we do not have much time for questions. But I thank you again and hope to see you soon. So, продължаваме на български. Заключителни фрази от днешния ден. Имахме наистина богата палитра от лектори. 4 часа продължихме да изследваме темата за D&I инструментите във втория ден на D&I форум, организиран съвместно от фондация GLAS, фондация Билитис и Work It Out, бизнес мрежата Work It Out. Благодаря ви за това, че бяхте с нас днес. Това не е, разбира се, финалния ден на форума. Утре имаме трети ден, в който ще продължим, но по една така близка тема, но много важна за организациите, стратегии за щастливи умове и така здрави тела. От мен хубав ден и до утре в 10 часа.